You could say it started with Gangnam Style. Then came more K-pop, Parasite, Squid Game, K-pop Demon Hunters. The Hallyu or Korean wave is high right now. So if you want to learn Korean, here are the essentials that I wish I knew when I started learning the language. Hi, I'm Lindsay, a language learning expert, passionate about helping you learn languages better. And in this video, I'm sharing the essentials that every new Korean learner needs to know. But before we get started, when you're learning Korean, or any language for that matter, one of the most important things is that you have a decent set of resources. I have done the work for you. I have created the ultimate language resource list. There's resources here for over 150 languages, including Korean, and you're bound to find something new to help get you started with Korean. You can get access to the list for free at lindsaydoeslanguages.com/list. First up then, learn Hangeul. A new alphabet may seem intimidating, and it can be tempting to just focus on speaking and listening and ignore the writing system. But don't fall into that trap. Korean Hangeul is often considered by linguists as one of the best writing systems in the world, and with good reason. Let me explain. It's an alphabet. So that means there is a set number of letters that represent vowel and consonant sounds, just like in English. But unlike English, they group together to form syllable blocks. So imagine if the English word cat, one syllable, was spelt like this instead of like this. You've got just 24 basic letters with some extras where there's doubled up lines to just represent a slightly different sound. Very easy to get to grips with overall. And it will definitely be worth it, because when you're able to read Korean, you can read signs, menus, Korean text in your resources. It will definitely make learning the language easier. I first learned the basics of the alphabet in around a 2-hour stint many years ago. And I made a video about that. I'll pop up here so you can check that out if you want to learn more. Have you learned Hangeul yet? How did you find it? Let me know in the comments. So with Hangeul out of the way, what about our essential first words? Well, I'm going to stick with just 5 words, but we're going to go a little bit deeper with each so that you can really start to understand how the language works. So when you understand these words with a bit more depth than just word equals word, then you'll be able to understand more about Korean as you learn more. These first 5 words will be some of your most used Korean words. And as I said, great examples for further insights into the rest of the language. So let's break it down. First up then, 안녕하세요. This means hello. This is your standard greeting that you will use any time of day, when you walk into a shop, when you're greeting someone on a hike, all of the situations that you might find yourself in Korea. And if we break this down, that first word, 안녕, this means peace. And the 하세요 means please do or please be. So what this can really be interpreted as is something along the lines of, are you at peace? And if we break this down even further into 하세요, then 하 is from the verb to do, 하다, and 세요 is this verb ending that implies please. There are many endings that you can add to verbs to add this extra nuance of meaning. This one, please. So we might get something like 먹세요, please eat, 가세요, please go, and our next word, 주세요. So 주세요 is our standard word that we use for please. Literally, this means please give me. So when you're ordering in a restaurant, when you're buying your souvenirs in a shop, when you're getting a ticket, all of those scenarios, you would say 2 tickets, 주세요. Or you would say this, 주세요, right? That is where 주세요 really comes in as a useful second word to learn. And that brings up another point. Did you notice that I said things like 2 tickets, 주세요, with 주세요 at the end? That is because typically the verb in Korean goes at the end of the sentence. In English, you would say something like, I buy bibimbap. In Korean, you would say something like, I bibimbap buy. In fact, most of the time you don't even need the subject. So we can think about getting rid of the I and just say, bibimbap buy. Korea to go. England in live. Korean study. Kimchi, eat. So this means you can now ask for stuff in Korean. The third word in that list is 감사합니다. This means thank you. And this is a great introduction to something that stumped me for way longer than it needed to when I first started learning Korean. And that is honorifics. There are multiple levels of formality in Korean. And in the beginning, for me, I thought I needed to learn all of them perfectly for every single new word before I moved on to the next word. It was slow, it was tedious, and it really halted my progress for a long time with the language. Instead, what I recommend as you get started is to focus on learning the so-called middle level. You'll be able to spot these because they typically end with seyo or soyo. Eventually, to avoid messing up and insulting people, you will be learning more of this. But to start off, 감사합니다 is our first introduction to that higher level of honorifics. And do you notice that this doesn't end in seyo or soyo? This ends in nida. And that nida ending is your clue when it comes to spotting that higher honorific language. You might see this around Korea a lot, for example, on signs at temples. If you read and you will see at the end of the sentence, even if you don't understand everything that that sign is saying to you, you know already that it is a polite level of honorific. So honorifics will come down the line, but at the very beginning, the essential start point into that topic is 감사합니다. Fourth on the list is 있어요. This is such a useful word. Anytime you get a word that has these multiple meanings that you can put into different scenarios and it makes sense, it's one to learn. So first up, it can mean there is or there are. Basically, when you're saying that something exists. So we'll take those easy vocab words from earlier, bibimbap, kimchi, and we can say there is bibimbap, there is kimchi. Bibimbap 있어요, kimchi 있어요. Done. Easy. A sentence. Woo! But that is not its only use. It can also have the meaning of having something too. So bibimbap 있어요 can mean there is bibimbap, but also I have bibimbap. And there's one more really useful thing. If you add a little questioning tone at the end, bibimbap 있어요? We're now asking if there's bibimbap. See? Really useful word. 3 in 1. Boom. And our final word, very essential, very early on that you're going to want to know this, and that is 없어요. And an. So it's useful to learn that negative form of 있어요 because it's a bit irregular in the sense that usually when you have a verb in Korean, you can add this word an in front of the verb and it makes it negative. 있어요 is irregular. Of course it is, because it's a commonly used word. Isn't it always the way? So this means that instead of an 있어요, we say 없어요. So we'll take our same example, bibimbap 있어요. How can we say there is no bibimbap? You're right, bibimbap 없어요. Easy. How can we say you don't have bibimbap? Bibimbap 없어요. So that means with 2 words, 있어요 and 없어요, we can express 6 things about bibimbap. There is bibimbap, I have bibimbap, do you have bibimbap or is there bibimbap? We can then also say with 없어요, there is no bibimbap. I don't have bibimbap. You don't have bibimbap. However, as we said, for most verbs, you simply add an in front of the verb. 먹어요, I eat. 안 먹어요, I don't eat. 가요, I go. 안 가요, I don't go. 사요, I buy. 안 사요, I don't buy. Woo, you've done it. 5 first words in Korean, plus a deep dive into how it will help you further as you learn more of the language. Now, one more thing before I go. If you are learning Korean because you love K-pop, then Music Maestro will be perfect for you. Music Maestro is my online course that helps you to combine music and language learning without either one of them becoming a bore or a chore. You might know I'm all about making language learning fun and flexible and functional, and Music Maestro helps you to do just that. You can find out more and join now at lindsaydoeslanguages.com/music. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share with a friend so we can all learn languages better.